Okay, so in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to be cutting out the outside perimeter of the front part of the bookmark, and we're also going to do the same on the back part. Obviously in the last video we was marking these out, and we're going to assemble these two together later on so that our fabric sample is going to be placed behind this little window section there to complete the product. And in the next video I'll be talking about assembly. Now the first thing we're going to do is just cut the outside shape. Okay, this is quite straightforward, there's not much I need to really tell you effectively, but we're using a pair of safety scissors or scissors. I would, in a normal situation, recommend using a craft knife and a ruler and a cutting mat to make sure that these lines are absolutely precise, but it just means today we're working on our motor skills a little bit and using a pair of scissors. The one tip I'd say with a scissor, using scissors, is obviously using this part of the scissor here and never cut into the end, because if we cut to the end we'll find it will fold up the paper and leave an unpleasant finish. Okay, so really what we're doing, I'm going to do this quite quickly. I'd suggest take your time, but you can see I'm using just that middle part of the scissor there where I'm cutting and making sure that I'm staying as close to the line as I possibly can. Okay, so I shouldn't be able to see any white, and I should just faintly see the cardboard marking, and this will be part of your assessment effectively. Your accuracy in making this product is one of the key things, and that includes the cutting as well as the assembly, and obviously your stitching techniques that you've done in the videos by Miss Penman. Okay, so we're making sure that everything we do is as accurate as we can possibly be. So I'm just going to finish off this line first, and then we're going to focus on cutting out the middle section. Okay, now in the previous lesson we talked about measuring and marking this out. Okay, and what you could do if you wish is to get your steel rule or ruler, and you could measure out using the data measures again and measure out 180 millimeters by 80 millimeters. Okay, however, what you could also do, because what you've basically created here is a template, is you could lay the existing product over the second component that we're going to actually produce as well, and you could also just draw around the side. Okay, now I'm using a normal graphite pencil here because it should just show up faintly so I can actually see what I'm drawing around, and again I'm trying to be as accurate as I can, so I'm pushing down hard on the paper to make sure it doesn't move around or skate around when I'm drawing. Okay, so you can probably just about faintly see that line if we move it around in the light, and that's what we're doing. If we do it this way, what we're doing is assuring that the front product will be the same as the back product, and it should save us a bit of time. If we was being super accurate, we could measure it out and that would work as well, but obviously if we were a couple of millimeters out, we'll probably find that these two products would be different. So this is a good way to make sure that the two components come out the same, and this is why basically we produce templates in the first place. Now we're going to talk about taking this section out. Again, in a normal world I would always use a craft knife, a steel rule and a cutting mat and cut these out because it'd be much more accurate. Okay, today we're going to be using our safety scissors as well to cut this section out. Okay, and the obvious question you'd think is, how do we get the scissors actually into that part? Okay, what we're going to do is partially fold the paper. We're not going to do a rigid fold, so we're not going to take our piece of paper and put a rigid fold like this because it will show up on the edges of the part. We don't want to do that. We're just going to lightly fold it or bend it, I suppose, and just put a cut like this. Okay, we need a cut that's big enough to allow us to get our safety scissors in, and what we're going to do first is go and try to get to an edge like this, and then we're going to turn the scissors slightly like this. Again, I'm trying to use the center part of the scissors like this and go into the corner of the square like this, stopping exactly when I reach the corner. Okay, I'm then going to come in from a different side. Notice I'm going quite a wide arc here, so I have to use the scissors. Doesn't matter if it's a bit jagged or a bit uneven in the middle, as long as when we get to the edge there, we're trying to be a bit more focused, and then when we get to that line, being absolutely as accurate as we can possibly be when we get to that corner point there. So I'm just trying to do this very, very carefully. It's quite hard when you're doing a video to be precise like this, but you've got lots of time to concentrate on what you're doing when you're working on your own product. So I'm just making sure that that corner is absolutely accurate and that comes away neatly. So I'm making sure there I'm absolutely on the line. Okay, it's quite tricky and it will take a bit of practice. Now hopefully I've left enough space then to get the scissors back in again, to get back on the line and then work through to my second corner. Again, take lots of time doing this to make sure that your cutting is absolutely accurate, and really focus on where you're going to stop, so it's just on that point like this. Again, I'm coming in from another side like this to do the corner, and basically we're going to repeat this process all the way through. Okay, so I'm going to do all four corners like this, and you'll see in the next video that we should have a nice window cut out that is absolutely precise, and that is going to basically be where our fabric sample is. So you can see obviously on here we've got pencil marks on there. Once we finish cutting this, if we've done it accurately, we're going to turn this over, and then you will see that that will sit over the window like this. Again, a little bit of error here. I would take a lot more time doing this to make sure it comes out really crisp and really neat when you work on your product.